Instead of trying to manage time, what if you could create time instead? That might sound impossible, but just think about the last time when you managed to get an entire day's work done in just 2 hours and breeze through the rest of your day. Did you realize that you just freed up time that you didn't originally have? Now imagine, what if you could do this practically every day? How much more time can you create for yourself? Surprisingly, the secret isn't to improve time management, it's to manage your energy instead. Hi, I'm Angela from GrowthGarden. Over the last 25 years of work, both in corporate and in my own business, I realized that there are always good days when I'm insanely productive, and there are bad days when I'm just drained and uninspired. Is it the same for you? After doing some reflections and experimenting with ideas from different books, I realized that time management alone, like time blocking or batching work, isn't enough because our energy actually plays a much bigger factor, both in the quality and the quantity of the things that we do. In this video, we'll look at one universal truth about energy and how we can use that to boost your energy in 4 areas. Not just physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. All 4 jointly shape our state of mind. Now, to begin with, what is energy? And is energy management really more important than time management? To answer those questions, imagine this. Your partner just broke up with you over the weekend, and suddenly, your life feels dull and colorless. You feel so empty and dead inside, you don't even want to get out of bed. At work, you struggle to smile and to stay focused. And then your partner calls you up and wants to get back together. Suddenly, the world is bright and full of possibilities again. Back at work, you're brimming with energy, and even your colleagues cannot help but notice a difference. Where did all the energy go to during the breakup? And how did it return miraculously? More importantly, do you realize how that shift in energy can directly affect your results at work? Just think about it. Everything in nature moves in cycles. Day and night, life and death, the 4 seasons, high tides and low tides. Likewise with energy, we have our natural cycles of sleeping and waking, intense recovery after intense workouts, and so on and so forth. That is the universal truth about energy that transformed the way I approach time management. Our energy isn't constant all day. It moves in cycles of ups and downs. And the key to better productivity is also to move in cycles of using energy and then restoring it. It's just like charging and using a battery. Most of us don't consciously think about energy. We focus on time management, which is about optimizing how much time you devote to a task. But energy optimization takes us much further by addressing how well we use that time. Let's look at the impact of neglecting energy management in our typical day. Often, we wake up from a lack of sleep, then rely on coffee and sugary foods for a temporary boost. But after that, our energy crashes and we operate at suboptimal levels throughout the day before we collapse in bed and start the cycle all over again the next day. Ideally, what we want to do is this. Start the day fresh after a full night's rest. Then, throughout the day, we maintain a smooth cycle of using our energy and rejuvenating it before it dips too far, and then ending with a good night's rest. Can you see how much smoother, more productive, and less exhausting your day could be? These better energy levels are your secret to creating time. Look at those few hours of high energy that we didn't have in a typical day. When we use such high energy hours to work at peak performance, it allows us to get a lot more done in less time. As a result, we free up the rest of the day. Yes, you still have 24 hours like everyone else, but because you've optimized your energy to free up time and stretch your time, you find yourself being able to do so much more within the same 24 hours. You might even have extra time and energy to spare. Now that we know we should manage energy, not time, how can we actually do it? This brings us to the 4 pillars of energy. When we think of energy, we tend to think of physical energy, but it involves much more than that. Can you recall a day when you woke up feeling fresh and energized, thinking you can conquer the world, and then you get stuck in traffic on the way to work, get a earful from your boss, and you had to deal with one fire after another? Before long, your positive feelings have all evaporated, and you feel totally drained. That's why Tony Schwartz says that we need to manage 4 sources of energy. Specifically, we optimize our energy in 2 ways, by alternating between using and renewing our energy and expanding our capacity for all 4 pillars. Tony's book covers a lot of ideas, and you can learn more about it in the links below. But for the rest of this video, I'll be sharing an adapted formula. This is my set of simpler, practical strategies that I adapted that I applied in my life. And now you're free to use it too. First, let's look at physical energy. Most of us understand that our physical energy is linked to things like healthy, nutritious food and regular exercise. Yet, on a typical day, we don't give our body enough proper food and rest. Instead, we rely on coffee and sugary stuff to stay awake. This creates the sharp energy spikes and crashes like we saw earlier, and is unsustainable in the long run. Instead, we need healthier, more sustainable renewal methods. And we need to recharge ourselves periodically before our battery is totally flat. So here's what I do. During work hours, I try to work for 90 minutes, then take a break to rejuvenate myself physically, either with an active renewal or a passive renewal. Active renewals are basically upbeat, energizing activities that raise your heart rate and get your body moving. If I'm working from home, then I might do something simple like 20 burpees, 50 jumping jacks, yoga stretches, or running on the spot for a minute. Basically, I want to feel a change in my body's rhythm upward. Passive renewals are the reverse. We want our heart rate and breathing to slow down. Again, if I'm working from home, I might have some fruits or a drink, or close my eyes for just 10 minutes while listening to some soothing music. If I'm really tired, then a 20 to 30 minute power nap always helps. A full sleep cycle is usually 90 minutes, but 20 minutes is enough for you to feel really refreshed. Here's a list of ideas that you can consider for your renewals. Most of them are self-explanatory, though I should explain the point about coffee. Too much coffee can lead to a caffeine crash, but if you drink just 1 cup 30 minutes before your dip, it can sustain you. To recap, you want to insert these active or passive renewals just before your energy tanks. And it's good to mix up the two renewals, say 90 minutes of work and then jumping jacks, and then back to 90 minutes of work before you rest your eyes and enjoy some soothing music. Each of us is different, so do test out what works for you and share them in the comments below. Next, we have emotional energy. Our emotions directly affect our energy and our productivity. Just think back on a time when you were so angry with someone that you could explode. Did you realize how hard it was to think rationally? That's because our brain gets emotionally hijacked and our cognitive capacity just shrinks. No matter how great you're feeling physically, a bad experience can trigger anger and anxiety to ruin your optimal state. Yet, that is the emotional state that most people operate in. We feel stressed by deadlines, annoyed by colleagues, or feel defensive about our views or reputation. Such negative feelings drain us, and we need to replenish ourselves with positive feelings. We'll discuss how to manage negative emotional energy in another video. For now, let's focus on how to boost ourselves with positive emotional energy. Again, you can emotionally renew yourself either actively or passively. Active emotional renewal happens when you're engaged in something meaningful and feeling optimistic about it. No matter your circumstances, you can often change your emotional state just by changing your perspective to see things in a more positive light. Pause to consider what's triggering your negative feelings. Are these facts or just stories that you're telling yourself? You can also renew your emotions passively by relaxing into a peaceful, carefree state. That's when you are more open and receptive to ideas and possibilities. Again, for the best impact, toggle between active and passive renewal. Next, let's dive into something even less obvious. We're going to look at our mental energy. Our mental energy is usually at its peak when we are fully directing our thoughts, skills, and talents in an engaging task or challenge. Nowadays, most of us struggle even to focus for a few minutes because we are constantly bombarded by notifications, messages, social media, online messages, online content. Each time we get pulled away from our tasks and start swiping our phones, we are disrupting the flow of mental energy and fragmenting our attention into tiny pieces. This makes us feel mentally drained and unfocused. To renew your mental energy, you can alternate between two modes of thinking to engage your entire brain. First, we have big picture thinking, where we dream of possibilities, expand our thinking, and engage our right brain in creative brainstorming. Then we have tactical thinking, where we narrowly focus our attention directly onto a specific task. This usually engages our left brain, which is more systematic and logical. Again, it's important to alternate between these modes. For example, in preparing this video, I had to zoom out to think of everything I've learned about energy over the years and translate them into specific, concrete ideas. From there, I zoom out again to see what I missed before zooming in again to refine it. But throughout the process, I'm still focused singularly on creating this video for you. Likewise, to fully tap into your mental energy, you must remove all other distractions. I've included our links to other videos on this topic, including how to retrain your focus, avoid digital distractions, and achieve peak mental performance. Now that we've explored how energy affects our body, heart, and mind, let's look at our entire being with spiritual energy. This is not about religion. It's about elevating our thoughts and behaviors away from our lower, baser selves and toward our higher spiritual selves. We all have moments that we are not proud of. Just think of the last time that you were stuck in traffic, furiously honking and shouting at the person in front of you. Or if you picked up a wallet and decided not to return it. In times like that, you might hear an inner voice asking, is this who I really want to be? And you know that you're very far from your best possible self. This last pillar is about becoming aware of those moments because they deplete our spiritual energy and our sense of self. We want to replenish this energy and keep moving towards our better self by toggling between two areas of spiritual renewal. First, what qualities shine through when you are at your best? These could also be qualities that you aspire towards. Next, how can you translate those qualities into daily choices and behaviors? The key idea is to alternate between reflecting on the qualities that make you the best and doing the things that bring out the best in you. So you keep moving towards your best self and let those positive choices feed and energize you. Can you see how you can maximize your energy peaks for each of the 4 pillars and use them to recover from your energy dips? The idea is to achieve more and enjoy more time and energy. The 4 pillars apply to all of us, but your ideal blend of renewal activities will be different from mine. So, feel free to try out the ideas in this video and share what energizes you the most. Now you might be wondering, I get that I should renew my energy in cycles, but how do I actually fit it into a typical day? That's a great question, and I'm going to address that in 2 separate videos. The first is the ideal way to organize our day for energy optimization. And the second is an honest, behind-the-scenes peek into how I actually spend my week. Just a hint, I do use these tips, but I don't stick to them all the time. I cheat quite regularly. Subscribe to make sure you get notified of related videos, and do check out the links for useful books, summaries, and video resources in the description below. I'll see you in the other videos.